1 year. In the tech world, that's usually the sweet spot. It's long enough for the initial launch day hype to die down, for the buggy day one software updates to get patched, and for real-world wear and tear to show us what a device is actually made of. When Apple launched the iPhone 17 Pro Max a year ago, it was met with the usual fanfare: a refined titanium chassis, the brand new A19 Pro Silicon, a shrunken dynamic island, and the much-hyped transition to fully solid-state haptic buttons. But 11 months later, the conversation surrounding this phone has taken a remarkably dark turn. Tech forums, Reddit threads, and YouTube comment sections are flooded with a singular echoing question. Is this the worst version of Apple we've ever seen? Is this phone a genuine misstep, or is it just the victim of late-stage smartphone fatigue? So let's dive in. Apple turned up in late 2025 with what was easily the best redesign of an iPhone for a decade. The cosmic orange color alone instantly suckered me in, and I couldn't resist it. Thankfully, my initial superficial attraction was backed up in the first few weeks of use by a good all-around experience. But that isn't enough time to really assess a phone that costs this much. Now that we're a bit further down the line, I'm here to answer whether this phone is actually worth it beyond the very pretty design. Because let's face it, we know Pro Max iPhones are good. They're built well, the cameras are excellent, and the display is lovely. But is there any reason to get this over the iPhone 17 or an Android alternative? When I first reviewed the iPhone 17 Pro Max, I said that it would be different this time around as my main phone was going to be the iPhone Air. I desperately wanted to use that phone full-time, but I just couldn't get around the limited battery and cameras. I've now been using it phone for 11 months, meaning I've had a lot of time to live with it. I've been doing everything with it from watching content, messaging, traveling, and more. Picking up the iPhone 17 Pro every day, I love it. To me, it is easily one of the best designed iPhones ever, or best designed smartphones ever. I'm in love with how the aluminum wraps around the back, which gives a more seamless look, feels great in the hand, and adds durability. If I'd ever drop this phone, unless it hits square on the back, it would make contact with the aluminum corners rather than the glass. Ceramic Shield 2 also adds strength to the display. It is more anti-reflective and durable, preventing some of the smaller scratches that plagued my older iPhones. Even though I waffled on either cosmic orange or silver, I'm glad I chose the latter. It's so clean and looks great on its own, or with the white camera bump poking through a case. Unlike over the last several years, this phone still feels new after months of use because of this fresh design. It's still an iPhone, but it looks more identifiable than ever. The iPhone's display has changed marginally. It's the same 6.9-inch size, but brightness has increased by 1,000 nits to 3,000 nits. And there's a new Apple-designed coating to reduce glare. I confess I haven't noticed much of a difference with the latter, and it certainly isn't on a par with the brilliant Samsung S26 Ultra display in that regard. Apple ditched the short-lived titanium build materials this time around. In its place, we have the first unibody iPhone enclosure, and it's made of good, old-fashioned aluminum. Apple didn't state why the change was made, but it's likely due to balancing costs, thermal performance, and a heavier lean towards ceramic shield glass as the main durability selling point. I'm pleased to report that this change hasn't impacted my experience with durability. It looks as good as new, even after periods of using it without a case. You'll notice that I specified my experience above. That's because there were early reports when this phone first released of people getting scratches to their paint jobs. This may or may not still be happening, but it hasn't for me. But if you are worried, maybe get the silver one just in case. Powering the iPhone 17 Pro Max is Apple's A19 Pro chip. Day-to-day, the 17 Pro Max feels only marginally faster than its predecessor. If anything, it makes the animations of iOS 26 a bit smoother. That said, iOS 26 still stutters from time to time, like when I invoke Control Center. Where the processor is most notable is while playing games. We've had a few big titles make the jump to iPhone as of late. There was Assassin's Creed Mirage in 2024 and Hitman World of Assassination and Red Dead in 2025. The shading, lighting, graphics, and load times are all very impressive for what would be console-level games. They, of course, aren't all brand new titles, but it's impressive nonetheless. These games load faster and run more smoothly on my iPhone 17 Pro than on my iPhone 16 Pro. The phone also stays noticeably cooler during play. Apple is very proud of its liquid cooling feature for 17 Pro Max and I see why. Whether I'm playing games or charging my phone, it rarely gets that hot. There's also 12 gigabytes of RAM on board Pro Max this year, quite a step up from the 8 gigabytes in last year's devices. Storage starts at 256 gigabytes and tops out with a new 2 terabyte model. Just like the iPhone Air, the 17 Pro Max contains Apple's brand new N1 chip for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and Thread support, but retains a Snapdragon modem instead of the Apple C1X found in the Air, which seems an odd omission for the flagship device. iPhones often lag behind their Android counterparts when it comes to battery life. Not by a critical amount, but there is a gap, and this has only been widened by the introduction of silicon carbide technology, which has given some devices from OnePlus, Oppo, and Honor frankly ridiculous battery capacities. The iPhone 17 Pro Max doesn't have a silicon carbide battery. I'm sure they could have put one in there, but they didn't, and guess what? I don't care. I consistently get 2 days of battery life out of this thing under fairly heavy usage scenarios, and that is more than enough for me. Would it be cool to have even more? Yes, but is it critical to the user experience? Absolutely not. All in all, you shouldn't worry about battery life if you're considering buying an iPhone 17 Pro Max. If there's one area where there's a clear distinction between the iPhone Pro range and the rest of the lineup, it's the camera system. And it's also the area that interests me the most, given the iPhone 17 Pro Max's role in my life. On the back, we have a triple 48 megapixel camera setup, a first for Apple. That means the main, ultra-wide, and telephoto cameras all have the same number of pixels to play with. The telephoto also received an upgrade, with a new 8x optical quality zoom. The 5x optical was slightly inexplicably swapped for a 4x. I've obviously used this camera system for a while now, so I feel qualified enough to say that it is the best ever produced by Apple in a Pro phone. That might seem obvious as it's the latest version, but this one just feels so well-rounded and complete thanks to the triple 48 megapixel lenses. The switch from 5x to 4x optical is a bit odd, but less of a disappointment than I was worried it would be. One of the biggest camera upgrades can be found on the front of the 17 Pro Max, and it's something that's shared across the new iPhone range. It's called the Center Stage Front Camera, and it features a square sensor for the first time, which means you'll never again have to rotate your phone to switch between portrait and landscape selfies, or extend your arm to uncomfortable lengths to fit everyone in the frame. As for video, the 17 Pro Max has only extended the lead it has over the competition. Android phones are getting closer to the iPhone's video capabilities, but Apple has inched ahead again here. It's just an incredible phone for video, and the ability to shoot 4K raw footage is the cherry on top for the real enthusiasts and professionals. Now that I've explained the phone's features, I'll point out the drawbacks that I didn't like about the Pro Max 17. The iPhone 17 Pro Max has several notable downsides, including a very high price, a heavy and bulky design with 233 grams that is hard to use with one hand, and a controversial exterior finish that can scratch or show wear easily. It is one of the most expensive phones on the market. It is thick and heavy, making it hard to hold for a long time or use with one hand. The outer finish and anodized aluminum edges can dent, scratch, or show wear too easily. Minor camera upgrades. The telephoto and digital zoom features did not get the massive leap forward that many expected compared to older models. Software and AI limits. Apple Intelligence features and overall system stability still feel like they need more improvement. Heat and ergonomics. Some users report occasional heating during heavy tasks and find the button and speaker placement awkward. In the end, is this the worst version of Apple? The price is more of an issue for the iPhone 17 Pro Max this year for two specific reasons. The first of those is that the iPhone 17 exists. For $400 less, you can grab the best standard iPhone 17, which is only really lacking the extended telephoto camera options, some fancy video features very few people will use, and that big battery. Oh, the display is smaller, too opposite for some. There are other differences, of course, including the chip, USB-C speeds, and higher-tier storage options. but the overall experience is essentially the same. This is particularly the case now that the displays are nigh on impossible to distinguish between, save for the additional state on the 17 Pro Max. The iPhone 17 is a brilliant phone that's perfect for most people, and I have a feeling it'll tempt many to not spend what they normally would on Apple's flagship this year. And that's without mentioning the wealth of Android offerings you could also consider. Many people's phone of the year was the Oppo Find X9 Pro, which is $100 cheaper and arguably a better phone on the whole, depending on what you value. It has a mega battery and a potentially better camera system, for example. Buying the top-end iPhone this year isn't as simple as it might have been previously. The lineup is now far more interesting, and the spec gap that was always inherent between the regular iPhone is barely there anymore. It's hard to recommend anyone looks past the iPhone 17 for that reason. When people ask if the iPhone 17 Pro Max represents the worst version of Apple, they aren't talking about the hardware quality. The phone doesn't bend, the screen doesn't crack easily, and the battery doesn't explode. In terms of pure engineering, it is a masterclass. If you are upgrading from an older device like an iPhone 12 Pro or 13 Pro, the iPhone 17 Pro Max will feel like a massive leap forward in speed, battery, and display quality. But if you are looking for the innovative, user-first Apple of the past, you won't find it here. What do you think? Have you upgraded to the iPhone 17 series, or are you holding on to your older device? Do you agree that Apple's new subscription-heavy approach is ruining the experience? Let's chat in the comments below. Thanks for watching and see you later.